We appreciate every single one of you. Tell us where you're watching from in the comments. Now, let's begin. I saw him again, Miles, and I think I still feel something. The words didn't strike like lightning. No, they were gentler, like the soft sound of a door quietly locking behind you. Final, subtle, suffocating. I didn't react. I didn't cry or demand an explanation. I just sat there, halfway through dinner, my fork suspended in midair. Spaghetti slid back onto the plate. Her words settled between us like thick fog. It was Rebecca, my wife of 7 years, the woman I'd built a life beside. She sat across from me and calmly admitted she'd run into her ex, Julian. Seeing him, she said, had stirred something inside her. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't ask for details. I just said 4 words I never thought would leave my mouth. Do you love him? Her mouth parted slightly, caught off guard. The pause before she spoke was deafening. I don't know, she finally whispered. That's why I need time. Time, the cruelest thing she could have asked for. She didn't want answers or closure. She wanted space, to disappear from my life while she re-examined someone who had once shattered her. Julian, the man who cheated on her in college. The man she swore she had moved on from. And yet, there he was, pulling her curiosity back like a rusted hook to the heart. I pushed my chair back and said nothing. Rebecca wasn't always like this. When we first met, she was driven, fearless, and full of light. She had her own interior design firm, and I was a logistics lead at a private aerospace company. We were both seasoned, settled adults, not the type for reckless decisions. But that night, she packed a small bag without shedding a single tear. She said she'd be staying at her sister's loft in Brooklyn while she sorted out her feelings. I didn't try to stop her. I didn't shout. I just watched her leave, then pour myself a glass of whiskey and open my laptop. She wanted time. She'd have it, but I wouldn't wait around. 3 weeks passed. She sent a few messages, short, vague things like, "Hope you're okay, and can we talk soon?" Still figuring things out. I didn't respond. That woman, the one who'd walked out on me, wasn't the woman I knew. I threw myself into the gym with a vengeance, reconnected with old friends, took long drives through the city at night. I wasn't healing. I was preparing. And then I found it. An email sitting in her tablet. She hadn't logged out. The subject line, "Last night." I clicked. The message was brief but devastating. "Julian, you always knew what to say. I haven't laughed like that in years. And that kiss, well, I shouldn't have let it happen. But I'm not sorry. Becca," I didn't shout. I didn't smash anything. I just sat there and let the truth sink in. She kissed him, and she wrote to him like someone already gone. That was the moment I stopped hoping. I stood, closed the tablet, and walked into the cold night air. The chill cut through me, but it felt clean, purifying. She had made her choice. Now it was my turn. When Rebecca texted again, "Can we talk soon? I miss you." I'd already hired a lawyer. His name was Marcus Levon, a man known in high-end circles for handling divorces like high-stakes mergers, calm, efficient, precise. "Do you want to ruin her?" he asked, tapping a pen against his notepad. "No," I said. "I want to reclaim myself and make sure she understands what she gave up." That night, we began drafting the papers. And that was just step 1. She had no idea that almost everything she leaned on came from me. The sleek condo purchased under my trust before we got married, the Tesla she flaunted as her symbol of success, part of my company's executive fleet, her downtown design studio, quietly funded by monthly deposits from my accounts. I didn't pull the plug right away. I observed. I adapted. I changed how I dressed. No more wrinkled khakis or off-the-rack shirts. I upgraded to tailored suits, walked into work with confidence. People noticed. My assistant asked if I was seeing someone. My team lead joked, I finally looked like an exec. But I wasn't doing it for them. I was recovering my identity, the one Rebecca had slowly chipped away at. I joined a boxing gym in Hell's Kitchen. I started cooking again, something I let fade because Rebecca always wanted takeout. I wanted the city on foot, thinking, breathing, reclaiming my peace. Rebecca, meanwhile, was still clueless about what she'd triggered. One night, She called. I let it ring. She left a voicemail, voice shaking. I think I made a mistake. I listened twice, then deleted it. I wasn't ready to answer. Not yet. She needed to feel it first. Julian dumped her 2 weeks later. Her sister, Tessa, told me. She called one evening, her voice full of guilt. Julian told her she was exciting until she wasn't. Called her baggage. She's been crying nonstop. I didn't react. Didn't gloat. I just listened. She still thinks you two have a chance. Tessa said softly. There's no chance, I replied, calm and certain. Rebecca hadn't just betrayed me. She made me feel like I was second best, replaceable. And now, I was becoming something unshakable. By spring, I made my final move. I threw a dinner party at the condo. Sleek, elegant, candlelit. Just a few close colleagues, new friends, and neighbors. I cooked every dish myself. There was jazz playing, wine flowing, laughter echoing. Then Rebecca arrived, uninvited. I heard the elevator and saw her through the glass. She was dressed perfectly, too perfectly. Hair done, lips trembling. I opened the door, silent. Can we talk? She whispered. I led her to the hallway near the kitchen. I didn't know you were doing all this, she said, glancing toward the party. I thought you needed time. No, I said, steady. You needed time. I made a decision. Her voice cracked. Julian was a mistake. You shouldn't have made me your backup plan, I said, cutting her off. Tears welled in her eyes. Please, Miles, can we talk? I know I messed up. I smiled, not with malice, but peace. This isn't about hate, Rebecca. I'm just done. She looked lost, like she didn't recognize the world anymore. Maybe she didn't. You're not even angry, she whispered. I said, but then I remembered who I am. Then I walked back to the party. She stood frozen until the elevator doors slid closed. 2 days later, she texted again. Please don't sell the condo. It's our home. I still believe we can fix this. But she was too late. The condo had already been listed, and not quietly. I'd brought in a top luxury realtor, one who knew how to move fast. Within 72 hours, we had 2 full-price offers. A cash buyer from Boston signed immediately. When I told Rebecca, her response was almost comical. You can't be serious. That's my studio space. I still have stuff there. You didn't even talk to me first. I replied with a screenshot of the signed offer. In one sentence, you gave up your seat at the table when you left it to chase someone else. She called. I didn't answer. She called again. I blocked her. A few days later, Tessa showed up outside my building. I'm not here to change your mind, she said, just to say I'm sorry. That was not enough. Honestly, I think she had it coming. She's unraveling now, barely sleeping, barely eating. One by one, her design clients are walking away. Word spreads fast. What are they hearing? I asked, my voice cold, that she left a stable marriage for a man who disappeared. That she destroyed something real for a fantasy. People talk miles, especially in our world. It hit me then. Her whole life had been a performance, a polished illusion held together by perception and borrowed elegance. Now, the facade was collapsing. No house, no car, no support system, no Julian, just fallout. I didn't come to see her fall. I told Tessa. But I'm not going to stop it either. By the time Rebecca was calling, begging to meet, foreclosure, I was already gone, loading the last of my things into a truck headed for Seattle. A promotion waited there, along with something far more valuable, a clean slate. Before I left, I mailed her a box. Everything she left behind in our condo. Scarves, coffee table books, her favorite photo from Italy. The glass cracked during the move. Maybe by accident. Maybe not. And a type note. Rebecca, I hope one day you understand the difference between nostalgia and love. I loved you completely. You loved a memory. Goodbye. Miles. No drama. No threats. Just truth. That first night in Seattle, I walked alone to the pier. The air felt different, cleaner, colder, alive. I sat on a bench, watching ferries drift across the bay. sipping coffee and feeling not victorious, not bitter, just washed. My phone buzzed. A number I didn't recognize. I know you're done with me, but I have to say this anyway. You were the best thing that ever happened to me. I ruined everything. Rebecca, I read it once, then set my phone down. I didn't reply. Some silences speak more honestly than any words. 6 months later, everything about my life had changed. Not just the skyline outside my floor-to-ceiling windows, but the way I felt waking up. Mornings began with quiet coffee and long runs down Alki Beach. Evenings brought tech meetups, dinners with colleagues, and laughter, real laughter. At work, I was thriving. The West Coast office gave me what New York never could: creative autonomy, higher stakes, and real respect. Within weeks, I'd been promoted to lead operations on an aerospace logistics project. High pressure, high reward. I finally felt like I was doing something that mattered. Outside of work, I was rediscovering myself. I started learning French, joined a sailing club, adopted a dog, Rocket, a German Shepherd mix whose loyalty ran deeper than Rebecca's ever had. There were women, nothing serious yet. I wasn't looking to fill a void. I wanted connection, something earned, something real. Then came the email. Subject, just one conversation. Miles, I know I have no right to reach out. I don't expect you to answer. I've been following your work, your move, your success. I see your name in articles now. I still think about you. About us. About the man who would have walked through fire for me. I was blind. Julian was a mistake. He never loved me. You did, and I threw it away. You probably hate me. Maybe you should. But I don't hate you. I miss you. I'm sorry. Please, just let me know you're okay. R. I stared at the screen for a long time. I thought about who I was when she left. The sleepless nights, the constant replaying of conversations, the self-doubt. But that man was gone, burned away in the quiet fire of heartbreak and healing. I didn't reply. I archived the message, not out of spite, out of peace. A few days later, I met someone unexpected in a bookstore downtown. Her name was Harper. She worked in architecture just a few blocks from my office. We both reached for the same poetry collection by David White. Our fingers brushed. She laughed. We talked, then kept talking. Coffee led to dinner. Dinner led to the kind of conversation that felt like oxygen after drowning. She didn't care about my past. She just saw me, present, unvarnished. And when she smiled at me across the table, I realized something startling. I wasn't angry anymore. Not at Rebecca. Not at Julian. Not even at myself. What happened had happened, but it had led me here. 1 year to the day after Rebecca left, I wrote her a letter. Not to send, just to write. For me, Rebecca, a year ago you asked for time. You said you needed clarity. You wanted to revisit the past before choosing a future. What you didn't understand is that real love doesn't ask for a dress rehearsal. I gave you loyalty, presence, truth. You gave me silence, doubts, a ghost. When I asked if you loved him, your silence answered everything. You weren't confused. You were curious. Curious about what chaos felt like. Curious if the man who once betrayed you could still thrill you. In doing so, you forgot the man who stood beside you. Quietly, daily, without needing fanfare to be devoted. You thought I'd wait. You thought I'd hold the line while you played with fire. But I left, not because I stopped loving you, but because I finally started loving myself more. You taught me the sting of indifference disguised as self-discovery, the shape of betrayal cloaked in the language of healing. And for that, I thank you, because you also taught me what I will never accept again, what I truly deserve, what peace feels like. I don't hate you, Rebecca, but I don't know you anymore, and the life I built doesn't leave space for shadows. I hope you find what you're looking for. But just so you know, I already did. It wasn't Julian. It wasn't closure. It was freedom. Miles. I folded the letter and placed it in a drawer, beneath the deed to my new home, Rocket's adoption papers, and the flyer Harper left on my windshield for her gallery opening. I never wrote about Rebecca again. She faded like a scent in the air, once familiar, no longer missed. Months later, passing through New York for a conference, I didn't stop by the old neighborhood, but I did see a photo on social media posted by a mutual friend. Rebecca was at a fundraiser, alone, smiling too brightly, holding a wine glass like she needed it to keep standing. She looked stunning and hollow, and I felt nothing. Now, I wake up in a city that never stops moving, in a home filled with honesty and light, next to a woman who doesn't wonder if she was someone's second choice. I live fully, not for revenge, not for appearances, but because I finally understand peace is the loudest closure, and the deepest revenge is needing nothing at all.